Hi. Well, kind of back here with my normal clothing on. Kind of. Now, normal to somebody else would be men's clothing. Anyway, I wanted to. Well, it doesn't matter. I have a high, very powerful, high sexual energy. My God, it's powerful. Anyway, it's a good thing. Positive life extender, I think. Yeah. So me and my little dresses and stuff and all that cool stuff and fantasies, and everybody has them. And oops, where did I put that? I don't know. Everybody has them. One fantasy or another. Some of them post them on the internet. Well, you can check it out. Fetish.org, is it? Or fetish something or other. Fat life. Believe me, I explored every black hole you could ever think of in my studies of things. It's kind of intriguing. So it's all human, it's all natural. Only God and religion make it a taboo, which is the total BS. As long as you don't harm anybody or do anything naughty to anybody. Some people are psychopaths. Anyway, that's not the why I wanted to talk for a bit again. Oh my God, Chatty Cathy John is. So, I wanted to go over some comments that Giant Red Spot left. A couple. Let's go way back to the 70s, mid-70s, I believe. That's Billy McDonald and myself. We hung out together. We did things like go to scrapyards, and Bill was kind of a lone wolf. And he's, I think, on the island of Vancouver Island on a boat somewhere. He loves machinery, gadgetry, and all that kind of stuff, so that was the 70s, 60s, 70s, buddy. So we talked about and we learned about the artillery piece at J.P. Fell Armory in North Vancouver, British Columbia. It's a red brick building with white trim on it. There's 103rd Thunderbird Squadron there, as well as the Navy cadets are there as well, with a cannon out front of their place. That I didn't touch. The one I got permission to touch was the one that 103 Thunderbird Squadron guys were selling off to Amex Salvage. They assured Amex that all the springs were taken out at the airport. This is in the news. Your new mission, should you decide to accept it, Giant Red Spot, is to find the news article or information on it on the 90 millimeter anti-aircraft cannon M1. It was complete with sights and everything. I got all of that off of it. I got permission from Amex to take it apart because one of their guys got killed by taking the bogey mount down, cutting the retainer spring, the retainer pin on the spring, which is at least a foot in diameter by 4 feet long. If not, no, I think it was about 5 feet long. A massive thing. So this guy was cutting it with a torch through the pin. 2/3 of the way through, he wanted to put his torch down. So the story goes, he wanted to adjust something on his truck. People do that with an outfit like that. So when he walked around in front of it, well, the retainer pin, 1/3 of it broke and killed him, as well as it hit the staircase of J.P. Fell Armory. I'm sure the indentation is still there. If you ever get around to looking down there, you could probably see it. It would be right when you're walking towards the Air Cadets building, 103. Look at a few steps up, you'll find it. Probably painted over, but you'll see some kind of indentation. Whether there's any metal there left, I don't think so. Anyway, I proceeded to take it apart. I did take off the traverse and elevation mechanism. They are units that you can actually see in a BCTV news story that was done on me. You can see the traverse unit had a gear at the bottom, which drove a huge gear on the base of the cannon. And also had the elevation mechanism as well. Some of the internal worm gears, all the electronic boxes that were on it. Some were solid brass, the shell setting unit on the side, the sights. Oh man, and I did have 2 boogie mount down end caps. Very heavy things. Oh, what else I have? I had a bunch of other things too. And thank God I didn't attempt to even look in that part of it where the boogies mount down are. Because all I remember was a big plate. A massive bolt running through it. The poor guy got killed, for Pete's sake. It made a lot of news. Anyway, after this fact, I actually took the retaining pin back to my place at 1458 East 29th Street, North Vancouver, British Columbia. Now, this is interesting. So, my goal was to bring it in pieces and put it in storage, the whole cannon. He had a taxi pick me up at 5 o'clock because I couldn't take the buses, heavy stuff I was hauling. And a moving company came to move one of the, actually the 2 traverse and elevation mechanisms. This is intriguing because I've been digging around trying to find out who stole the cannon, because at that time, Pierre Elliott Trudeau brought in Bill C-58, gun control, and it's one of the 13 that got nailed for nothing, really. Pretty sad. They came around, asked me questions. Before I had no problems with the RCMP. Corporal Tate made ways through customs for all the machine gun parts. Basically, retraction assembly and spade grips, the desirable items for deactivated 50 Browning. However, had a real Browning that was given to me as a Colt, made by Colt, heavy barrel. They're all heavy, no, sorry, M3 aircraft Brownings, $25 each, in the original crate, along with gun history. So I amassed a huge collection of machine guns, and cannons and other crazy things, and rifles and semi-autos and all that. So I was charged falsely for having an unregistered machine gun. All of that, of course, was 78 to about 1979 or 80. My lawyer was a gun collector lawyer, R. Flynn Marr, who's now a photographer, and Machine Gun Martinoff, who's a lawyer as well, who would carry his AR-15 with him and his briefcase in his suit, wanting them to charge him, and he'd always take them to court. I might have the newspaper articles. There were a lot of articles on these guys. Anyway, that took away my involvement with the cannon at J.P. Fell Armory area, right in front of the Air Cadets Squadron. And then I went after all that, after the trial. Of course, the judge threw the case out, basically. Trial by magistrate, it's called in Canada. And said he felt that entrapment was going against John Hutchison, and that the constable should paid retribution, and the provincial ombudsman got involved to sue the RCMP, but Constable Chapel vanished. Anyway, that was, they brought in the FACs, which I still have some. Federal Firearms Acquisition Certificate. No problems at all. I've owned everything you could ever think of. I took all the safety courses as well as the psychological courses, and I have no criminal record anywhere in the databases in Canada. Then I found out in the 90s when I wanted to go to immigrate to Germany. So there's no criminal records, nothing. I still have that in writing as well. Thank goodness I have that. I don't believe in crime. I don't believe in anything like that. To have a record, criminal record? Mm-mm. No, no, no. Don't have that. And you can look at all the info on my gun collection and my permission to carry guns, not carry them on an aircraft, but to ship them to Canada. So got the tags. Firearms unloaded. 1990. Anyway, I'm wandering all over the place again. Sorry. So back to the green artillery piece. So I bugged Clifford Jan, a longtime gun buddy since the 70s. Dan Jan, brother of Clifford. And other people. The word is the cannon. I even drew out what was missing on the cannon. A lot of things. Sorry, I don't have the... I might have the receipt somewhere from Amex. It'll take a couple of days to try and find it. But... because when I started working on the cannon, the militia came out of the building, the red building. The armory came over. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I said, I got permission. This is my cannon now. Oh, we better check that. So they phoned Amex and they said, yeah, that's now John's cannon. So, I don't know, a giant red spot. What you could do. It's fun to find the news story. Somebody who supplies things to Hollywood I contacted, I think it was 8 months ago, and Ian somebody. Who has a big movie prop place and artillery pieces and said your cannon probably is this one or that one. Same old story. And then yeah, gun collectors say, oh well, it's in somebody's garage hidden away and they don't want us to see it. Okay. So this could be quite the thing. If you want to find the news story, go for it. Also, I have the clippings from my trials, tribulations with Pierre Elliott Trudeau. He really ticked him off. Did get support later from Joe Clark. He became Prime Minister of Canada. I got letters from him, as well as members of Parliament. It's all 13 of us got okay after that nonsense with Trudeau's gun control BS. Tom Vagelis got nailed. I got nailed. It was in NFA Journal, National Firearms Association of Canada Journal. First issue was written up. I got the first issue still. Went back to the 90mm. So I've been trying to find out the news stories and looking online and couldn't find anything. So I'm talking 14 minutes about a cannon. Okay. Not showing off my dresses today. I mean, I did, but I'll upload that too. God, I got a lot of junk to upload tonight. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the 90mm cannon parts here. Only the cannon pieces and parts off the Navy ships. Stupid when you leave things behind and moving. Although they appear in a video, another video, the hand wheels off the traverse and elevation, and I think the gun sight as well. I think that appears. Oh, I had a Lewis machine gun 303. beautiful piece. Sten gun, Bren gun. My God, this is really funny, but from Lever Arms Service, Alan Lever, he's probably dead now. I used to help out at the store on Dunsmuir and Granville. But I bought a Beat Browning automatic rifle deactivated for $16. That kind of thing now is thousands of bucks. All the stuff's gone out of sight. International Military Antiques. Hi, Alec Kramer. It's me. Thank you for what I bought a few years ago. I got proudly displaying it. I'll be buying more sometime when the prices get right. God, I'd like to visit them. So I bought a couple of never used Beaufort barrels, 40mm, 0815 Maxim wheeled mounts. God, I bought all kinds of stuff from Orlicon barrels, other things. They got good stuff. It's a great story behind those people. Speaking of antique stores, and there's another antique store in California. The prices are very reasonable. I got a lot of goodies from him. I think it's www.antiquefirearms.com. California. These are all registered dealers. Now, I bought a lot of stuff from the Canon Superstore people. Ed and Molly ran it with some guy on Gunbroker in California. Wow, it's kind of intriguing stuff. Because I did get four or five good items from them. Other gun collectors say they never got anything from them. They're scam artists, but I never had a problem. Ed got sick and transferred my importation from New Zealand to Richard Wentz firearms dealers, then eventually to, they petered out, and then he transferred it to a fellow local here over on the coast, Bennett, Mr. Bennett, who is a registered gun dealer. And everything, it goes, I got all the paperwork. Everything goes by the ATF rules and regulations, so. That eventually arrived to my place in 2016 from Mr. Gamble. Then New Zealand had gun control. Everything had been thrown into the trash. Unbelievable nonsense. Anyway, so it's kind of semi-focused on guns and stuff today, so. The biggest guns I've personally seen were on USS Alabama, the 16-inch guys, and 5-inch. Also the drum, the USS drum submarine is on that. There's videos on Facebook of me on the ship. I had a video cam until the battery died. Okay, so that's biggest cannons. I wasn't going to try and move those, of course. That's a museum ship, and they contacted me a few years ago wanting a shell collector for their Orlicons. I got one, but I'm not sure exactly what it's for. It's smaller, but I might have one. I mean, I got so much junk, and my friend in Scotland arranged through Lichfield of England, the main supplier of Orlicon cannons, vintage, to the general public. I bought up all the armrests, most of the gun sights, along with a lot of other things. It's just piles of stuff kept coming. Anyway, I'm going on that. Anyway, so that's some of the history in gunfire. Tongue-tied doctor, gun control. But it's an interesting story, and I'm trying to bring it to light, like I brought the jet that crashed in the Grouse Mountain to like the people that almost forgot it and never heard of it, and they decided to make a memorial site up on the mountain. It was a jet that crashed there and lost 16 missiles, which they have never found, which they never mention in the news media anymore. And crashed right in the mountain, and we had ideas. It was a Bill McDonald and I, of course. No, Mark Murphy and I as well, my landlord's son, to move a section of the jet engine down the mountain. Yeah, right. It's wedged between two trees. We take small pieces from the crash site. So that's a Grouse Mountain adventure. I think it crashed in the 50s. But anyway, back to the 90mm. It'd be fun to find the story on it and trace it down and find out who stole it. Other things were stolen too when I had the lab at the Murchie Tea building. Then moved to 13th and Kingsway, Vancouver. Right on the corner, right by the hospital. That's where the building vanished. Issues and other things. And that's with Alexander Shereshevsky and George Lissake, the Pinnacle Oil International, who got the millions of dollars for his field stress detector using those power cells. Ha! And when I went to Germany, Richard Glug, Environment Canada, preserved most of my guns, all of them except for two cannons. One I built myself as well. Excuse me. As well as two I built myself. The revolving cannon, which you'll see in a video. The Hutchison Lab, 1988. If you go to Nancy's website, you'll see it uploaded. I briefly scan across my work table, and you see the cannon and a flyball governor next to it. And you see the two hand wheels off the traverse mechanism of the 90mm. So anyway, I'm going on, and it's now 20. I'm going to have a lot of stuff to upload tonight. Okay, gotta go. Take care.